Hey guys, today we are going to look at hitboxes and hurtboxes on 3D skeletons. This is an interesting topic because by default, if you have a hitbox or a hurtbox, you just use like area nodes and move them under a node or like the root node, right? Just like how I did with the camera here. Let's look at this before we jump in. I made this basic scene setup. Let's just say floor so that we don't need to do this in the video, you know. As a character scene, so we're gonna be this player here, and then this guy will be the one we're gonna smack. So the player has the camera underneath. So just as I mentioned, because we want the camera to stick to the player, I put the camera node underneath the player, and it's as simple as that. But with hitboxes, so for example, if this guy is about to punch, let me go into the scene and you're gonna see what I mean here. This is also just straight up from a gamedev file, so I didn't even need to set this scene up really. You can see how all of it like unfolds here. This is how it looks like when you import a gamedev with the animations. There's the skeleton, and it's like as simple as that. I just wrapped all of this into a character body 3D. So if I try to play punch 0, an animation that exists in this character bank, or in this animation bank, you can see his fist moving. And, well, so where do I put my area to indicate that hitbox? You know? That's our main problem here. That's why we need to do something called bone tracking, where we're gonna have an area for the hitbox, but it's always gonna follow a specific bone in the skeleton. If you're not familiar with the skeletons, when you click on them in Godot, you actually have a few options here. On the right side, you see the bone structure. So if I wanted to attach something to like this bone here, this is on the left side, so common sense kind of dictates that it will have a left or right prefix, or like, you know, L or R for the letter. And here it is. I think it's hand left. Yeah, it's that bone right there. Because the position, rotation, and scale for the bones, just like for nodes actually, you know, like you look at any node, you have these exact same properties. We have a built-in node to work on this issue of being attached to bones. Let me create my area first. So area 3D is what we want for the fist hitbox. I'll call this left fist hitbox. I'll call this damager area, because that will also be the equivalent of damageable. Just because I know hitbox and hurtbox might be ambiguous to some. And yeah, this is like a bit clearer indication. We could add any shape of collision we want. I'll do a sphere. I mean, something, you know. It's just for demonstration. So by default, we would have it there. But again, it's something like that. But again, you might want to exaggerate the size a bit in beat-em-up games, for example. That's a different video topic, so back to what I was saying. By default, we would have it there, the area. Let's see, it's not moving if I do the animation. And Godot actually has a solution for this in the form of a new node. It's is it like, it's under bone attachment, yeah, bone attachment 3D. However, there's a warning. Parent node is not a skeleton 3D node, blah blah blah. Meaning, we need to put this under an actual skeleton. Just like how with collision shapes, you have to put them under collision objects like areas or static bodies, character bodies. So let's do that. I'll call this left fist attachment. Okay. However, now we need to do some setups. Bone name. This is like a drop down with all the bones. These are the exact same ones we have in the skeletons hierarchy here. So bone name, hand left, and it gives us a bone index there. Now there's another warning which doesn't actually show up there because we just had to save. Now I can put my area underneath it. It's a bit off the bone. That's usually fine, but since the bone might rotate all over the place, it's wiser to just rig it to the bone directly a lot of the times. But if you want to, again, yeah, you can just like move it in place. That should be all good. Okay, so now if I play the animation, see? Now it's actually moving and if I just go into this, it's also inheriting the scale of the bone because the fist is being scaled as the animation is happening to make it look more impactful. Okay, that's good. So that is ready to go. Now we just need the equivalent of the damageable area, which is typically on the body. Like the entire body is able to take damage. So I'll copy this bone attachment node. Let's call this chest attachment. Honestly, it doesn't, well, it's like body attachment, but yeah, whatever. And we want to rig this to something, or we want to attach this to something pretty fundamental. The top bone of this rig is the hip. Sorry, I just checked whether I'm actually recording or not. Body attachment. And now this area has to be, this bone has to be changed to the hip. And then the area, yeah, we have to save for it to take effect. Now the area snapped there, and now this is body damageable area. I have to make a new shape for this, because if I change the radius here, see, the one on the fist also changes. This is because I copied the node over. And so this variable, this shape variable is still referring to what you can see here. I would have needed a new one anyways, because this is rather a capsule than anything. It could also be a box. It really doesn't make a difference because we are just talking about an area as an actual physical object. Yeah, let's do something like that. I don't even need to move it on the x-axis. Okay, that should cover him. You may notice that the actual collision is different. Well, that's mainly because this way you cannot make the shape follow a bone, but it might also oftentimes just make more sense to get the damageable area separated from your actual collision. Because maybe if you're making a game where only like the feet or the lower area of the character has collision, meaning you like enemies can, I don't know, jump over you in the sense that they just go this trajectory, right? Then your collision doesn't cover your entire damageable area, like a visual representation, so to say. But yeah, this is good. Now we just need to write the scripts. This is where it gets fun. So we're gonna have Well, we will have 4 scripts. We're gonna make one for generic characters. We will make one for the player so that we can control it. And we are gonna make the damager and the damageable areas. Let's think about the concept first. I said there are gonna be 2 character scripts, but just to show you the scalability of the system design, the player script is actually going to inherit from the base character script. Just because that makes sense, right? If you have a character script, and we have a player, the player is like going to inherit from that base character script. So let me set this up. The script, base character. We don't need the basic movement template now on the base character script. And there's also another reason why I'm creating the base character by any means. You'll see that in a moment. Here, for now, I'll just create HP and damage and a function to log the damage somehow. Take damage. Basically, we are just gonna subtract from the HP, right? We're gonna subtract some input damage. We're not subtracting damage because that is our own damage variable. We need to know who does the damage to us. And it could just be a integer, but if you need more information later on, like if there's a combo going on, and you want to know the combo count of the other character, it's wiser to just pass the entire dealer here, who is a base character. So in this concept is just minus equals dealer.damage. However, if the HP is less than 0, well, we should cap it. And then just print. I'll print the notepad for this node by getPad. And I'll just say died. So if HP is 0, then we can probably return because we are evaluated as dead. And otherwise we're gonna print that this node took dealer.damage, amount of damage, and now it has HP amount of HP. Alright, that should be straightforward. And we need to call this function in these thingies. Now, we want to create contact between damager and damageable areas. Because basically, if I have a character in front of me, right? Pretty much what happens is that my damager area collides with the enemy's damageable area. It's also important to note that a certain character's damager and damageable shouldn't collide. Basically, if the owner is the same of these two, right, then that should be ignored. Because technically that means just me dragging the area here would deal damage to my own character right now. So we have damager area. Let's say damager area. I'll also drag the script on there. And we have damageable. As I said, both of them need to know the owners. Let's do that. Let's export it. Like related character. And now it's very good we have this base character script. Because we can just refer to any kind of character with it. So we want to designate the character. And in the damager, well, you could do this in the damageable as well, with like the setup the other way around, but I think it makes more sense in the damager to set it up. In the damager area, whenever an area touches it, remember what we just discussed here. Whenever an area touches my damager, then we'll evaluate that area, and if needed, we are gonna deal the damage upon that area entering. So we will need to use some signals, like area entered for the damager area. However, doing this setup, well, it's like, you know, if I connect it through GUI, I'll just have to keep referring to it on and on for each damager we create. So we could do it by code as well. If you haven't done this, it's actually not too much. You're gonna take the reference for the signal, area entered, and signals have a connect function. And this takes something like a callable in, which basically is a function referencing Godot. We have to write the function first. I'll just call it on area entered. We take an area 3D in. So to connect the signal through code, we just do that, and that's it. As if we generated that function through the GUI click through here. Basically, this is what happens inside the engine when you're doing the graphical connection thingy. Alright. So there's that. And as I mentioned, this is a function reference. You can actually save this out to a variable as well if you want to do stuff with it. It's important, it's worthy reading up on this. It's a pretty interesting topic, how these things go. So when an area enters, we have to make sure that the area is a damageable area and that its related character is not the same as our related character. And before that, we could also make sure that there is even a related character, so it's not null. If all of these conditions are true, on the other area's related character, we could call take damage. And remember, to this function we are passing the dealer, which is the damager area's related character. I call this other area, just for clarity. Okay. And now we need the player script to be able to move around. So that script, we will need the basic movement template, and this will be player character, but we inherit from base character. Alright, with the basic movement template. Player character. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, okay, we got the script on there. So now if I run, yeah, see, Now if I go back and forth, you can actually see that being logged, the damage take. Every time I enter, the other guy's damageable. Alright, that's good. Oh, right, I meant to write as the story goes to, sorry. With all of that being set up now, well, obviously we want to invoke the attack by some kind of input. So let me create an input map for attack. I actually already had it here. Attack. And I'll bind it to the left mouse button for now. We just did something simple in physics process. Like, if the attack action got pressed, we are gonna call on the animation player. We'll just use the notepad for now. We'll call 0.0. Okay, yeah, there we go. So that works. But even so, it's like, well, we're still, yeah, no, I also got it. The area is still active. That's our problem here. So by default, it's almost like this would have to be disabled, right? All the damagers, actually. So maybe we could even write it here, that monitoring equals false. You could also set the collision mask to 0, or like just empty, so that it cannot come into contact with others. Or yeah, collision layer and or the collision mask, whichever one doesn't trigger this function, you know. I'm not gonna look into it in detail right now, whichever one it is. But basically layer is which layer your object is in, and the mask is which one it scans. But if I hover over the area entered signals description, emitted when the received area enters this area, requires monitoring to be set to true. So we are probably doing the right thing with this variable here. However, in the animation, we'll need to set it back to be active for a certain amount of time. Like, we don't want it to be active during the entirety of the animation. Okay. Creating a reset track might also be a good shout, because then by default, when the animation player node boots, it's gonna apply, oh, come on, it's gonna apply the false state for the monitoring. Although we do it by script anyways, but you know, might as well have it there. So let's say we activate it around, well, we will need to keyframe this, right, to get a good overview. But yeah, like, maybe like around there. And we'll need to turn it back off at some point. Maybe when he starts retracting it, like 0.4. I guess it doesn't quite matter. I'll show you how it's done in my actual game. Yeah, I have it open here. The scene. Well, I made some changes to the indexing and the animation itself. But if you look at it, yeah, it's like through here. So yeah, I'm like doing the exact same thing, sort of. Let's say different system for ball following, but it's trivial. Yeah, and then here it gets disabled. Maybe I should change the keyframe for it, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Okay, so back to this. Let's see, if I run the base level. Alright. right? Now if I walk into the guy, yeah, I'm not getting damaged or anything. I'm hitting him twice because I think the fist just goes past his body. So it's like it meets it twice. Yeah, that's... Now that I'm a bit further away, that's not happening. So that's cool. And I guess that's it, right? I think we've gone through everything I wanted to show you. I'll be sure to put the scripts into the description. I won't be able to upload the entire project because this is my own model for my own game I'm making. And you can check it out actually on Steam under the name of Pick the Archon. I also have a Discord server where I post updates. Feel free to join in. I'll have it in the description. I post updates as frequently as I can. This is like a beat-em-up platformer 3D game inspired by Crash of the Titans. So if you are into that, then we are more than happy to have you on the server. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that was helpful. As I mentioned, I'll be sure to link these for you, the code. And I'll see you around in the next one. Until then, have a good one, and goodbye.